Part 65. From the City to the Strongest in the Universe. Author, G. Difeng Ren. Chapter 641. I don't know how many foreigners want to kill Li Yang now, so it's definitely a good idea to leave as soon as possible. Although the Golden Dragon Emperor is powerful, there may be a real top foreign emperor coming, and then the Golden Dragon Emperor will not be his opponent. Okay, 13th senior brother Li Yang nodded. Boom. Boom. Just as he said this, two extremely terrifying momentum fluctuations suddenly erupted in the distance, and then two alien emperors descended directly. Apparently they were also outside the film. They knew Li Yang was coming out here and came over immediately. Human Limu, these two alien emperors, one from the demon tribe and the other from the metal tribe, stared at Li Yang as soon as they appeared, with no trace of murderous intent on their faces. Emperor Jinlong looked at the two emperors coming, but there was no panic on his face. He looked at the two people and said calmly, "Emperor Kunyu, Emperor Black Tiger, do you want to take action?" After hearing the words of the Golden Dragon Emperor, the Metal Tribe Emperor Kunyu and the Demon Tribe Black Tiger Emperor looked at him again, with a trace of fear flashing in their eyes. The strength of the Golden Dragon Emperor is close to that of the top emperors. The two of them are a little inferior in strength. Even if they join forces, they are no match for the Golden Dragon Emperor. Damn it, why is the Golden Dragon Emperor here? If it were other emperors of the human race, we would fight no matter what. Emperor Kunyu and Emperor Black Tiger were angry in their hearts. Li Yang had killed so many gods of their tribe, and Li Yang also had many treasures such as the Fusion Law Inheritance Token. If possible, they would of course want to kill him. However, the Golden Dragon Emperor is very powerful, and with the Golden Dragon Emperor protecting Li Yang, there is no chance for them. Humph, Golden Dragon Emperor, you humans, don't be proud. This time you humans, lame you, killed so many five-element gods, involving 41 of the top ethnic groups in the universe. All ethnic groups will be counted on you humans for this account. The Black Tiger Emperor of the demon race snorted coldly. It's frustrating, it's so frustrating. They have been fighting against the human race for countless years, and they have only suffered such a big loss like this one in total. Haha, our human race is strong and we rely on our own strength. Why should we be afraid of threats? After hearing the Black Tiger Emperor's words, the Golden Dragon Emperor said softly. The human race has countless opponents, and I don't know how many ethnic groups want to destroy the human race, but the human race is still among the pinnacles of the universe. Threaten. What is a threat? In the face of absolute strength, everything is like a chicken or a dog. Next to the Golden Dragon Emperor, Li Yang did not speak. He looked at the two emperors calmly. Although his strength is already very strong, he obviously has not reached the threshold of an emperor. But Li Yang was not in a hurry at this time. My fire laws can be mastered very quickly. When the fire laws break through to the realm of gods and my strength improves, I will definitely be able to continue to absorb more of the ancestral dragon essence and blood. By then, I don't know if my strength can match the real one. Emperor. Li Yang secretly thought that the emperor who once shocked him so much now felt that he was no longer far away. Okay, you two, since you don't take action, then we will leave. The Golden Dragon Emperor looked at the two Black Tiger Emperors with gloomy expressions in front of them, and said softly. There was a smile on the corner of his mouth, and he was obviously in a good mood. After the Golden Dragon Emperor finished speaking, he waved his right hand and disappeared with Li Yang. The remaining Emperor Black Tiger and Emperor Kunyu looked gloomy. Human Limu has left. They knew that once the Golden Dragon Emperor and Li Yang left this time, it was basically impossible for anyone to catch Li Yang, even if the master arrived. In the huge killing battlefield, who knows which route the Golden Dragon Emperor took? His strength is still close to that of a top emperor, and he is not far away from being a master. Human Limu will definitely be able to return to the human race safely, and then go to the super inheritance place of the fusion law. Emperor Kunyu, what are your Metal Clan's plans? Emperor Black Tiger asked. Emperor Kunyu looked gloomy and said, of course I want to kill human Lemu at all costs. The Metal tribe also suffered heavy losses at the hands of Li Yang. Apart from the Demon tribe, they suffered the second largest loss. Okay, then contact us anytime, the Black Tiger Emperor nodded. Since they all want to kill Li Yang, it is naturally best to join forces. After talking for a while, Emperor Black Tiger and Emperor Kunyu also left. Human Lemu followed the human Golden Dragon Emperor and left. The Black Tiger Emperor of the Demon Clan and the Kunyu Emperor of the Metal Clan simply don't dare to stop them. How to block it? The strength of the human Golden Dragon Emperor is close to that of the top emperors, and he is considered the top power among the emperors. Even the Black Tiger Emperor is no match for him when they join forces. It doesn't matter if we leave, human Lemu will no longer step into the killing battlefield, and we don't have to worry about encountering human Lemu again. Yes, this god of death, I hope he never comes back. One by one the gods were discussing. Watching Li Yang leave, they felt relieved. Having killed 405 element gods at once, this human Lemu is simply a murderer. The key is that he is so strong, and he also likes to kill weak ones. Which strong person would not be frightened? They would rather meet other invincible experts in the realm of gods than meet human Lemu. Of course, when human Lemu left this time, they also knew that he would definitely go to the place where the law of fusion was inherited and would not come back again. From now on, human Lemu will only become a legendary figure on the killing battlefield. Not knowing what the gods behind him were saying about him, Li Yang followed behind the Golden Dragon Emperor, and the two of them were going to return to the eternal temple of the human race together. Junior brother, we will be able to return to the temple in about 2 months. Inside the aircraft, the Golden Dragon Emperor smiled at Li Yang. It took Li Yang 3 years to come to the killing battlefield from the human territory, but the Golden Dragon Emperor was powerful and the aircraft was also top-notch, so the time to return must be much shorter. 2 months is enough to return. Thank you for your trouble, Senior Brother 13. Hearing the words of the Golden Dragon Emperor, Li Yang thanked him. Haha, I have to go back to the temple this time. Just by the way, the Golden Dragon Emperor smiled. In fact, he mainly sent Li Yang back to the temple this time. At this time, although Li Yang's strength was still very weak, in the eyes of the Golden Dragon Emperor, Li Yang's status was definitely not inferior to his. Just kidding, after practicing for just over 100 years, there is not much distance between him and the Emperor. What will be Li Yang's future achievements? It's hard to imagine. If you don't build a good relationship with Li Yang now, when Li Yang becomes really strong, it will be at least 10 times more difficult to have a good relationship with him. Okay, junior brother, you should practice well in these 2 months. I'll be outside. If you have anything, just call me directly. The Golden Dragon Emperor knew that Li Yang had disappeared for 50 years and must be anxious to enter the virtual world, so he didn't say much and turned around and walked out. End of this chapter. From the City to the Strongest in the Universe. Author, G. Difeng Ren. Chapter 642. Looking at the Golden Dragon Emperor leaving, Li Yang's eyes clearly showed a hint of anticipation. It's been a long time since I entered the virtual world. My family must be waiting anxiously, right? At this moment, he really wanted to see his family. Holding the watch in his hand, Li Yang's heart moved and he entered the virtual world directly. In a place in the Milky Way, there were many people waiting here at this time. His wife Zhou Yao, Li Yang's parents Li Qiahe and Zhao Rou, in addition to dozens of people, even some children, a total of nearly 100 people he knew. Swish. Suddenly, Li Yang's figure appeared directly. Yang. Li Yang. Dad. Grandpa. Great-grandpa. Suddenly, different names rang out. Looking at the familiar family in front of him, Li Yang smiled and said, "Mom and Dad, Zhou Yao." Mother Zhaoro came to Li Yang's side and couldn't help asking, "Yang Yang, you haven't entered the virtual world for so long, what happened?" Before, Li Yang only told his wife Zhou Yao about being trapped, but after a long time, his parents Li Kuahe, Zhaoro and others must know that he was in trouble. After all, they haven't seen each other for so long. Beside Zhaoro, Li Kuahe didn't speak, but there was a trace of worry on his face at this time. "Dad, Mom, it's okay." Li Yang smiled and said, "I stayed in a place of opportunity before, and couldn't get out. Now I'm out, right?" He smiled and explained, but didn't say anything about the danger he had encountered before. Looking at Zhou Yao, Li Yang smiled and said, "I'm back." "Well, it's good to be back." Zhou Yao nodded with a gentle smile on her face. The family reunion was naturally lively. At this time, Li Yang looked at the many new faces in his Li family and couldn't help saying, "Zhou Yao, the last time I entered the virtual world, my Li family had more than 20 people. I didn't expect that this time, it would increase so much." He didn't recognize the faces of most of the Li family members present, but all the Li family members looked at him with great admiration. What is Li Yang's current status? One of the strongest people in the human race, a disciple of the eternal ancestor, the ruler of the eternal temple of the human race. Such a status is not even inferior to the ruler of the Yang Yuan Empire, the Yang Yuan Emperor. You can imagine how high the status of the Li family is. They are completely sideways in the Milky Way. Even in this Yang Yuan star continent, the earthly family is one of the most unprovoked forces. Hearing Li Yang's words, Zhou Yao smiled and said, "In the past 50 years, our Li family has added 2 more generations, and the number of people in each generation is increasing. Now our family has a total of 103 people. Li Yang and Zhou Yao only have one son, Li Dong. As for their son, Li Dong, he has 3 sons and 2 daughters, so he has more children. And Li Dong's 3 sons basically have 3 or 4 children each. Li Yang has Li Kuahe as the 2nd generation, Li Yang is the 2nd generation, Li Dong is the 3rd generation. By the 5th generation of the Li family, there are more than 20 people. Now the Li family has reached the 6th generation, which is even more exaggerated. The number of people in the 6th generation alone has reached more than 60. In general, it is normal for the total number of the Li family to be more than 100. Li Yang sighed, if this continues, Li Yang's 7th generation is estimated to have at least 200 people. By the 8th generation, it is estimated that 600 or 700 people will not be a problem. By the 9th generation, the total number of the Li family can easily exceed 1,000. It only takes another 50 years. No wonder many of the slightly larger forces in the universe have their own families. After 1,000 years, my Li family is estimated to become a behemoth. Li Yang couldn't help but sigh. However, with more people, there will be more geniuses, and now we encourage childbirth. Take the Earth for example. The population has been expanding wildly in the past 100 years, but compared with the population of other planets, the Earth is basically the bottom. The same is true for the entire human race. The human race can become one of the most powerful races in the universe, and its terrifying reproductive ability definitely occupies a large factor. No matter how low the probability of a genius appearing, as long as the base number is sufficient, there will still be an endless supply of geniuses. Sighing, Li Yang looked around and asked in confusion, "By the way, Zhou Yao, where is Xiaodong?" He didn't see his son Li Dong when he came back this time, which undoubtedly made him feel a little strange. If it were normal, Li Dong would probably be the first to run out. Zhou Yao explained, "Xiaodong is now in the core area of Yang Yuan Xingzhou, sharpening in a place where people cannot enter the virtual world for a period of time." Oh? Sharpening. Hearing Zhou Yao's words, Li Yang was a little surprised. With this peerless genius as his father, Li Dong's conditions are unmatched by many people. Li Dong's talent for cultivation is not strong, but not weak either. Li Yang bought a lot of resources, a lot of cultivation experience of strong people, and even the fire spirit beads of the fire ghost divine beast clan and other treasures that helped to comprehend the laws were prepared for Li Dong. Even, Li Yang prepared resources for Li Dong to force a breakthrough to the world realm. Forcing a breakthrough to the world realm is more difficult than cultivating to the god, which shows how precious these resources are. For Li Yang at the time, it also cost a lot. And Li Dong is also striving for success. Without relying on resources, he broke through to the low realm at a very young age. However, Li Dong's cultivation is relatively hard, but he also enjoys it more and will not spend all his time on cultivation. As for honing or something, Li Dong basically won't do it. Yet. Zhou Yao nodded and said, before you didn't enter the virtual world, your parents and Xiaodong guessed that something might have happened to you. After that, Xiaodong became much more enthusiastic about cultivation and worked very hard. Hearing this, Li Yang smiled and said, it seems that my affairs have made Xiaodong mature all of a sudden. If he had any accidents, the status of the huge Li family might be immediately reduced. So Li Dong also realized this crisis, so he became more diligent in cultivation all of a sudden. Of course, Li Yang was happy to see this change. Even though he had many cards, he still encountered many difficulties on the road of cultivation. He knew how difficult the road of cultivation was. If he didn't work harder, he would basically stagnate when he reached a certain height. It would be very difficult to go further. Li Yang didn't expect many people in the entire Li family to be alive, but he definitely hoped that his parents, wife, children, etc. would always be with him. After spending some time with his family in the virtual world, Li Yang came to the temple again. Disciple greets the teacher. In the huge palace, Li Yang looked at the eternal ancestor and said with great respect. The eternal ancestor could easily learn about him from his fire ghost divine beast clone. But it was the eternal ancestor who went to find him. This time when his real body returned, he must come to pay a special visit to the teacher. End of this chapter. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. From the city to the strongest in the universe. Author, G. Difeng Ren. Chapter 643. Back. The eternal ancestor looked at his disciple and said, you did a good job this time. He was talking about Li Yang's plan to kill 405 element gods of alien races at one time. He praised him. For a being like him, he thought it was good, which was a high evaluation. There was no arrogance on Li Yang's face. He stood respectfully and said, my disciple also relied on some luck in this plan. Google searched Can. Seeing Li Yang's expression and hearing his words, the eternal ancestor nodded secretly in his heart. World realm, killing 405 element gods, such a big commotion, many geniuses are arrogant to the sky. Most of the geniuses of the human race are like this. However, he did not see any pride on Li Yang's face. Such a mentality undoubtedly made him more satisfied. Luck is also a part of strength. Looking at Li Yang, the eternal ancestor asked, what are your plans next? Li Yang said respectfully, teacher, I am going to go back to the temple, and then I am going to the place where the fusion law is inherited. He returned to the temple, first to deal with the treasures on his body. Before, he not only got a medium-level holy weapon in the ruins world of the Holy Artifact sect, but also got 6 ordinary holy weapons. These holy weapons, as well as the treasures of 400 powerful 5-element gods, are worth a lot of money. In addition, Li Yang had previously made a special inquiry and found that the human race had a passage to the place where the fusion law was inherited, that is, the space teleportation array. He would undoubtedly save a lot of trouble by going through the space teleportation array. Otherwise, it would take too long to fly slowly from the killing battlefield to the place where the fusion law was inherited. The eternal ancestor nodded and ordered, "Come to me again when you return to the temple." "Yes," Teacher Li Yang nodded respectfully. After leaving the palace where the eternal ancestor was, Li Yang came to the area where the teacher of the Daolo sect master was. In the palace, there were other disciples of the Daolo sect master. At this time, these disciples were discussing the matter of the killing battlefield. That Lameu's strength is too terrifying. 405 element gods were killed at once, and they were all extremely powerful 5-element gods. Watching the battle video, the 5 invincible gods of the demon race, including the Blood Emperor, were not even Lameu's opponents. "Too strong, but my strength is not enough for the 3-element god, so I can't enter the God Alliance space of our human race, otherwise, I would definitely go and get to know him." "Haha, brother, Lameu is so powerful that even if you make friends with him, he may not pay attention to you. It doesn't matter if you ignore him, at least you get to know such a person." The disciples of Daolu sect master were all discussing the news that Li Yang killed 400 top 5-element gods at once on the killing battlefield will obviously not be dissipated so easily. It is just in the early stage of spreading. It is estimated that the popularity will not drop in a few years. The key is that too many 5-element gods have died. 400 powerful 5-element gods fell at once on the killing battlefield. Except for the emperor or stronger people who specialize in killing, such a thing has almost never happened. While talking, these people saw Li Yang, their eyes suddenly lit up, and they walked over. "Junior brother Li Yang. Junior brother Li Yang, you haven't been here for a long time. Is something wrong? Junior brother." Seeing Li Yang, those who were discussing came over and said. Speaking of which, they hadn't seen Li Yang for 50 years. These 50 years were very short, but for Li Yang, he had only practiced for more than 100 years in total. It was undoubtedly strange that he hadn't entered the virtual world for 50 years and hadn't come to the Daolu sect master. Not only them, but even other people had never seen Li Yang. So there was a rumor that Li Yang had fallen? After all, he had practiced for such a short time, but he disappeared for such a long time. The killing battlefield was originally full of dangers. If you are not careful, you will fall. The human race has no idea how many peerless geniuses have died after entering the killing battlefield. According to the overall statistics, as long as the human genius enters the killing battlefield, the probability of falling in the end is 90%. In other words, out of 10 human geniuses who enter the killing battlefield, only 1 genius can survive in the end. How low is this probability? So it is normal for many people to doubt. And now, Li Yang has reappeared, which undoubtedly makes this rumor wrong. Of course, it is not necessarily wrong. It is possible that Li Yang died and was resurrected. This is also possible. After all, Li Yang's teacher is the eternal ancestor. Brother, looking at the people in front of him, Li Yang shouted with a smile. His brothers in front of him could never have thought that the brother in front of him was the Lameu they had just discussed, who made them extremely odd. "By the way, brother Li Yang, the teacher is greeting guests, you need to wait a little." Looking at Li Yang preparing to enter the palace, a brother reminded. "Greeting guests." Hearing this, Li Yang nodded and said, "I know, thank you for reminding me, brother." After saying a few words, Li Yang entered the palace. Watching Li Yang leave, the disciples of Daolu sect master couldn't help but start talking. "I wonder how strong junior brother Li Yang is." The news about Hongsu came out before. Hongsu now has the strength of an ordinary 5 series god. This rate of progress is simply incredible. Now when everyone talks about junior brother Li Yang and Hongsu, they all say that Hongsu has left junior brother Li Yang far away. I think junior brother Li Yang is too low-key. His strength must be very strong now. Several people were discussing. Speaking of Hongsu, there was obviously awe in their eyes. The strongest of them is only a god from the third system. Compared to the god Hongsu from the fifth system, his strength is 100 times different. In terms of strength, Hongsu can kill them instantly. In the palace of the leader of the Daolo sect, the leader of the Daolo sect was indeed entertaining someone at this time. The visitor is an emperor. The two had a competitive relationship at first, but the leader of the Sword Slaughter sect was trapped in the invincible level of the divine realm, but the emperor made a breakthrough. And now, the leader of the Sword Slaughter sect has also made a breakthrough, and this strong man came here to congratulate him. Haha, Daolu, I just came back from exploring a ruins. I didn't expect you to successfully break through to the emperor. I think we were competing in all aspects at the beginning. Some senior leaders in the clan were still discussing who of us would become the emperor first. A man with red secret lines on his face and red, disheveled hair said with a smile. This man is called Emperor King Guo. Now that you have also broken through to the emperor level, we are still equal in terms of strength. Luckily the leader of Daolo sect said with a smile. Emperor King Guo smiled and said, we are about the same in strength, but when it comes to disciples, you are not as good as me. Now one of my disciples has become a god of the fifth system, while your disciple is only a god of the third system. End of this chapter. From the city to the strongest in the universe. Author, G. Difeng Ren. Chapter 644. King Guo, you still like to compare. Hearing what Emperor King Guo said, Daolo sect master said helplessly. In fact, he and Emperor King Guo had an average relationship. At the beginning, he and Emperor King Guo were the two most dazzling geniuses of the same period and the most popular, so Emperor King Guo liked to compare with you, but for Daolo sect master, there was no meaning of comparison at all. Haha, we have an infinite lifespan, so we have to find something to do, right? Emperor King Guo smiled. While speaking, he suddenly looked outside the palace door. Huh? Your disciple Li Yang is here? It is rumored that your disciple Li Yang has died. Now it seems that the rumor is untrue. Emperor King Guo smiled and said, I wonder how strong your disciple is. When Daolo sect master saw Li Yang coming, he was happy, but when he heard what Emperor King Guo said, he was unhappy and frowned slightly. My disciple did not fall. Daolo sect master frowned. Daolu, don't be angry, I just said it casually. King Guo emperor smiled. Well, I've been here for a while. Since your precious disciple is here, I'll leave. King Guo emperor smiled. He stood up directly, and then the gate of the palace opened. Outside the palace, Li Yang was waiting quietly. Daolu sect master must know that he has come, and he will definitely meet him when he has time. Teacher! Li Yang shouted immediately when he saw Daolu sect master coming out. He glanced at the man next to Daolu sect master, and obviously recognized him, and said, Meet King Guo emperor. Yes. King Guo emperor looked at Li Yang and smiled. Li Yang. He knew about Li Yang decades ago. He smiled and said, Li Yang, Hongsu, who is also a peerless genius like you, has the strength of an ordinary five-element god. Although I am optimistic about Hongsu, I also think that Hongsu is stronger in the competition between you and him. But you have to work hard and can't be left too far behind by Hongsu. If you do, you will lose face for your teacher. Hearing his words, Li Yang didn't say anything, but frowned slightly. What does this King Guo emperor mean? What does it mean to be more optimistic about Hongsu? What does it mean to lose face for Daolu sect master? However, Li Yang couldn't refute what King Guo emperor said. After all, the other party is an emperor, and a friend of his teacher Daolu sect master. He didn't say anything, but Daolu sect master frowned slightly and said, King Guo, Li Yang is my disciple. His disciple, King Guo emperor, was pointing and commenting casually. Haha, just a joke. Hearing Daolu sect master's words, King Guyu Emperor smiled. He didn't have any hatred towards the Daolu sect master, he just liked to compete with Daolu sect master in everything, which was retained from the time when he was a genius. He would feel happy only when he surpassed Daolu sect master in all aspects. Okay, Daolu, I'm leaving first, you two can chat slowly. Emperor King Guyu smiled. He glanced at Li Yang. Hee, this Li Yang is definitely a genius in any resistance, but it's a pity that Hongsu appeared in our human race. His talent shocked a lot of our emperors. It's a pity that Li Yang and Hongsu are in the same era, he thought to himself. If there was no Hongsu, even if Li Yang had not shown any strength at this time, he would probably be the most concerned genius of the entire human race. Unfortunately, compared with Hongsu, Li Yang's attention is less than 1/10 of Hongsu. Many human race strongmen believe that Hongsu will at least be a top emperor in the future, and may even compete for the throne. Of course, Emperor King Guyu is happy to see this situation. He likes to compete with Daolu sect master. He knew that Daolu sect master's disciple Li Yang was accepted as a disciple by the eternal ancestor. He was naturally a little uncomfortable. After all, he did not receive such an excellent disciple. But now, Li Yang is becoming more and more unknown, and his mood has improved again. Then, Emperor King Guyu turned around and left directly. After he left, Li Yang couldn't help but said, "Teacher, this Emperor King Guyu." He obviously noticed something about his teacher and Emperor King Guyu. Daolu sect master shook his head and said, "Li Yang, don't worry about him." He took Li Yang into the palace. After entering the palace, Daolu sect master showed a smile on his face and said, "Killing God, lame you, your current strength is not much worse than that of the teacher." He has been paying attention to Li Yang's situation, and of course he knows how strong Li Yang is now. Even he was shocked by Li Yang's strength. Disciple is just lucky. Li Yang smiled. Daolu sect master invited Li Yang to sit down and said with a smile, "With such strong strength, there is no such thing as luck. By the way, are you ready to return to the temple now?" Yes, Li Yang nodded and said, "I am now with my 13th senior brother Jinlong Emperor, and I will be able to return to the temple in 2 months. Nodding, Daolu sect master asked, "Tell me how you killed those 405 element gods before." Even he was surprised at how Li Yang killed so many gods. Li Yang smiled and said, "Teacher knows that the disciple has gold-eating bugs. Before killing more than 104 element gods and 5 element gods, the treasures on them were added together, and the disciple finally exchanged for a complete resource for cultivating gold-eating bugs. In exactly 50 years, these gold-eating bugs have also grown up completely." Li Yang said quickly, "With the cooperation of the gold-eating bug, the disciple was able to kill so many gods. Fortunately, the demon blood emperor who possessed the holy weapon was far away from the disciple, otherwise, the demon blood emperor would interfere and the disciple's harvest would be much smaller." Haha, sometimes luck is also a part of strength. Daolu sect master laughed. The master and the disciple were talking, and Li Yang was very relaxed on Daolu sect master's side. At this time, Li Yang thought to himself, "Teacher broke through to the level of the emperor, I was not there, and I didn't even have time to congratulate him." When Daolu sect master broke through, he was swallowed by the abyss and entered that space to comprehend the fragments of the fusion law. Every emperor's breakthrough is a big deal. After all, for a powerful race like the human race, there are less than 10,000 emperors in total, and it is unknown how long it will take for one to be born. Teacher has been very kind to me. This time I come back, I will give the teacher some gifts, Li Yang said secretly in his heart. When he was weak, he practiced and tempered, and Daolu sect master gave him a lot of treasures. Luoyu from the Lai Emperor's family oppressed their earth and descended to the solar system, trying to seize the corpse of the ancestor dragon. The Daolu sect master even came in person to fight with the emperor. Going to the killing battlefield, the Daolu sect master also gave him precious god crystals that can easily improve the power of gods. The Daolu sect master was so good to him, and he has not yet repaid him. And now, Li Yang's strength has become so strong. This time he killed so many 5-element gods, plus the previous gains, the treasures on his body have reached an astonishing number. Time flies, and 2 months have passed in the blink of an eye. And Li Yang finally returned to the eternal temple of the human race again. Thanks to Zero Eta for the 200 rewards, thanks to Hisenling for the 100 rewards, thank you. End of this chapter. From the city to the strongest in the universe. Author, G. Difeng Ren. Chapter 645. I'm back. Li Yang looked at the familiar scene in front of him. Taiwan Novel Network rightward arrow dot. In front of him was an extremely wild area, with a rolling mountain range in front of him. On the mountain range, the ancient palace seemed to exude a trace of time. Above the mountain range, a strange river was flowing slowly, with no end in sight, and it seemed to be able to flow continuously. That river was naturally the treasure of the human race, the supreme holy artifact, the brilliant star river. How powerful is this brilliant star river? Li Yang thought to himself. At this time, he was not so weak, and he even had several high-level holy artifacts. He also knew the power of the holy artifact. However, in front of this brilliant star river, he still felt his insignificance. Even a light wave in the river could easily kill him in seconds. Look, it's Li Yang. Li Yang is back in the temple. There was a rumor that Li Yang had fallen, but now it seems that the rumor is false. More than 100 years ago, Li Yang's genius, Hongsu, now has the strength of an ordinary 5-element god. 5-element gods, stronger than most of the teachers who teach us. Hongsu has made such rapid progress. I wonder how Li Yang is doing. Diamond suit, diamond suit, diamond suit. Not sure, but definitely not as good as Hongsu. Many emperors in the temple have said that Hongsu is a unique genius of our human race. This is the foot of the Lianyuan Mountains. Most of the geniuses absorbed by the eternal temple of the human race are here. When they saw Li Yang, they couldn't help but talk about it. For more than 100 years, the geniuses of the same batch as Li Yang have left the temple, but the eternal temple of the human race must have absorbed many more geniuses through various channels. So many new faces. Li Yang glanced at those unfamiliar faces. The last time he came back, he saw some familiar faces, but this time, there was no familiar face. Teacher Eternal Ancestor asked me to go to him after I come back. I'll go now. Retracting his gaze, Li Yang did not dare to waste any time, and went to the location of Eternal Ancestor. Soon, Li Yang came to another place, where he could still see the brilliant galaxy. And in the brilliant galaxy, palaces stood one after another. One of the palaces was in the center, and the brilliant galaxy that could not see the end disappeared in the palace, as if it had come to the end. Li Yang came directly to this palace. In front of the palace, there were 2 people guarding. Li Yang, Eternal Ancestor has ordered that you can enter directly when you come here. Seeing Li Yang, the 2 gods smiled and said, they are the strength of the 4 series gods. The last time Li Yang came here, the 2 were still difficult for Li Yang to match. But now, in Li Yang's eyes, the 2 are completely easily killed, not worth mentioning. Trouble, Li Yang said with a smile. He walked into the palace. Seeing Li Yang enter, the 2 gods Shimo and Canal who were guarding the palace couldn't help but talk about it. Canal, can you tell Li Yang's strength? Shimo couldn't help asking. I can't tell. Canal shook his head. Alas, now Hongsu is progressing so fast. Many emperors in the temple have begun to talk about Li Yang, saying that he is far inferior to Hongsu. Shimo shook his head. They must hope that Li Yang will perform better and surpass Hongsu, so that he can live up to the name of the disciple of the Eternal Ancestor. However, Hongsu is now more and more famous and is favored by many high-level people of the human race, but Li Yang is unknown, as if he has changed directly from a genius to an ordinary person, losing all his brilliance and having no dazzling place at all. People are afraid of comparison. Although they perform well, but another person performs better, even 100 times better than the second place, then the second place is also ordinary in everyone's eyes. Walking into the palace, Li Yang soon came to the depths of the palace. Here, there is a burly man who is 10 meters tall. He is wearing a black ancient armor. His face is a bit similar to that of an earthling, but with some red secret patterns. He is still so ordinary. Overall, this burly man seems to be nothing special. But the more he looks at it, the more he finds that the burly man in front of him has turned into nothingness, as if he does not exist. Disciple greets the teacher looking at the figure in front of him. Li Yang said respectfully. Li Yang. Looking at his disciple, the eternal ancestor said, "Tell me about the specific situation in the abyss for 50 years. Hearing the eternal ancestor asking this as soon as he opened his mouth, Li Yang was obviously stunned and a little confused. However, Li Yang did not dare to hesitate and immediately said, "Disciple entered that space before, and only felt that the space was boundless. The only special thing was the fragments of the fusion law." Disciple comprehended for 50 years, and suddenly found a door in front of him, so the disciple stopped comprehending. Li Yang said quickly. Hearing this, the eternal ancestor nodded and said, "If it's as I expected, that space should be used by the fusion law land force to select talents, and it was established not long ago." Fusion law land force. Li Yang was stunned for a moment. "Teacher, you said that is a force. Isn't that a super inheritance place?" "There is also a super inheritance place in the killing fields, but it is not the fusion law. Li Yang has been there, and there are basically no people there. In addition to the inheritors, there are also powerful men of various races who are lurking outside, waiting to kill those who have the opportunity." Li Yang didn't know much about the place where the fusion law was inherited. In his opinion, it should be similar there, right? Right. The eternal ancestor nodded and said, "The inheritance place of the fusion law is a very special place. In the super inheritance place on the killing battlefield, the tokens are uncontrollable and are randomly distributed everywhere. Some it's available to those who have chance. But the fusion law inheritance token is controllable. Since it is controllable, the room for manipulation is naturally much larger. For example, if any genius has talent, they will take the initiative and absorb it. Just like this time, tens of thousands of top gods gathered together, and then made this land of opportunity appear, and began to test, and the best one got the token." The eternal ancestor looked at Li Yang and continued, "In the beginning, this was the place where the law of fusion was. Tokens were constantly being distributed, and those who could enter were basically the top geniuses of each major ethnic group. Just imagine, every ethnic group has the most powerful group of geniuses, and this place where the fusion law is inherited is dedicated to absorbing the top geniuses from each ethnic group. What will happen over time?" Li Yang listened silently, feeling more and more surprised at this time. He couldn't help but said, "There will be more and more strong people there. As geniuses continue to grow, their strength will become stronger and stronger. And if the place where the fusion law is inherited absorbs a group of the top geniuses in the entire universe, how far will its strength grow?" You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. From the City to the Strongest in the Universe. Author, G. Difeng Ren. Chapter 646. The Eternal Ancestor nodded. "In the early days of the development of our human race, this place where the fusion law was inherited already existed, and began to absorb geniuses in a planned way. 3 of our human race's masters were originally issued tokens by the place where the fusion law was inherited." What? Hearing this, Li Yang showed surprise in his eyes. There are three masters of the human race who have entered the place where the law of fusion is inherited. Li Yang couldn't help but ask, "Teacher, what about other ethnic groups? Other groups have certainly had their masters enter there." The eternal ancestor said, "Really speaking, the place where the law of fusion is inherited has the most powerful people." Hearing this, Li Yang could already feel the terror of the place where the law of fusion was inherited. There are three masters of the human race. Extrapolating this, there are three masters of the demon race and two of the metal race. Based on this calculation, how many masters have entered that super inheritance place? It is estimated that there are at least over 100 masters inside. According to Li Yang's estimate, the number of human masters in the entire human race is estimated to be only a few dozen. Teacher, is there a founding ancestor in the place where the law of fusion is inherited? Li Yang couldn't help but ask. Have. The eternal ancestor nodded and said, there are 5 founders of the major ethnic groups who came out of it, and there are still 2 founders sitting in charge. Hearing this, Li Yang was also shocked. In real terms, the human race and the demon race are not the most powerful forces in the universe, but the super inheritance place of the fusion law is. Don't think about how terrible it is. Looking at Li Yang's expression, the eternal ancestor smiled and said, the place where the fusion law is inherited does not occupy any territory. It is just like an academy, absorbing the best geniuses from all major ethnic groups. These geniuses still belong to each major ethnic group. Li Yang, just because you enter it, it doesn't mean you are the one inside. You are still a human race. There, the geniuses of the major ethnic groups still fight with each other, so Li Yang, just go in and concentrate on improving your own strength, the eternal ancestral path. Disciple knows. After hearing this, Li Yang nodded slightly. That's right, just like King Bei, it absorbs the best students from each province. After graduation, these students still belong to each province. Here is the specific information about the place where the fusion law is inherited. He can take a look. The eternal ancestor waved his right hand, and a point of light appeared, flew over, and then merged into the watch in Li Yang's hand. Suddenly, an icon about the place where the law of fusion was inherited appeared on the watch in Li Yang's hand. However, Li Yang would definitely not look at it in front of the eternal ancestor. How is your understanding of the law going? Later, the eternal ancestor asked about Li Yang's understanding of the law. Li Yang said, this disciple is about to master the last secret of the fire law, and it will take no more than 2 years. Hearing this, the eternal ancestor asked, when you have mastered the 4 mysteries of the fire law, are you ready to break through to the realm of gods? Li Yang nodded and said, this disciple has this plan. The eternal ancestor looked at Li Yang and said, I suggest you not to break through for the time being. No breakthrough. Li Yang was stunned for a moment after hearing the words of the eternal ancestor. Li Yang, do you know the origin of the laws of the universe? The eternal ancestor asked. Disciple knows. Li Yang nodded. Once he masters a secret, the origin of a law will come for him to absorb. The eternal ancestor said, the laws of the universe are endless in origin. Even a teacher is not sure how many laws there are in the entire world. Not sure. Li Yang was stunned again. The eternal ancestor is the most powerful person in the universe, the founder of the world. It stands to reason that he has fully understood the mysteries of heaven and earth, so that he can create his own world and even life. Yes, the more powerful you are, the more you can feel the vastness of this world, the eternal ancestor sighed. He is still looking for a way to become stronger. Changing the conversation, the eternal ancestor said again, by mastering a secret, the origin of the laws will come and be absorbed by the body. These origins of laws are also the key to one's own transformation and increased lifespan. Li Yang nodded. The essence and blood of the ancestral dragon is very strong, and the refining effect is no less than the original law. However, no matter how much essence and blood of the ancestral dragon is refined, it cannot change the lifespan. The eternal ancestor continued, when the peak of the world realm breaks through to the divine realm, the universe will descend the true and complete origin of the law. At that time, almost everyone will be just an ordinary god after becoming a god, but some, after the breakthrough, their strength will increase far beyond imagination. Li Yang didn't speak and listened quietly. This is because they have accumulated enough. Accumulation, Li Yang thought silently in his heart. The deeper the accumulation, the stronger the strength. After breaking through to the realm of gods, the strength will be stronger. The eternal ancestor explained, for example, your current strength, if the fire law breaks through to the realm of gods, it is estimated that the strength will increase by 10%. You know, just a piece of the origin absorbed by ordinary gods will have no effect on your strength at all. Ordinary gods have one origin, and gods of the second series are 10 times as powerful as ordinary gods. This is the result of mixing the two origins together, and gods of the third series are 10 times as powerful as the gods of the second series. However, Li Yang only broke through the fire law, and he could only obtain the origin of the fire law. And what strength does he have now? All 5 gods will be killed instantly by him. This is equivalent to Li Yang's origin of 10,000 ordinary gods. How does just adding one serving help his strength? The eternal ancestor continued, you can increase your strength by 10%, and what you accumulate is the refined blood essence and blood of the ancestor dragon. Relying on the blood essence and blood of the ancestor dragon, your current strength is between the gods of the 4th series and the gods of the 5th series, which is equivalent to yourself. There are already thousands of copies of the law. Li Yang's current strength is partly due to the perfect version of the God Crystal and 3 high-level holy artifacts. These are actually external, and they won't be of much help to Li Yang at all when he breaks through. Not counting these external objects, Li Yang's true strength is between the gods of the 4 series and the gods of the 5th series. Relying on the thousands of accumulated sources, other world realms who break through and become gods will only get one source, but you can absorb at least hundreds of fire law sources. This is accumulation. The eternal ancestor explained, so, my teacher's advice to you is that after you have completely mastered the 4 mysteries of the fire law, don't rush to break through and wait for other laws to progress. Based on the speed of your law comprehension, it is estimated that within 100 years at most, you will be able to fully master the 4 mysteries of the dark law, thunder and lightning law, space law, time law, etc. At that time, it will be the time when you have accumulated the deepest knowledge, and you will break through the 5 series of laws together. Thanks to 08A for the 100 tip, thank you. From the city to the strongest in the universe. Author, G. Difeng Ren. Chapter 647. Li Yang is now comprehending 5 laws: fire, darkness, lightning, space, and time. Diamond suit, diamond suit, diamond suit, diamond suit. The eternal ancestor's advice to Li Yang is to try to break through to the level of a god after fully mastering the 4 mysteries of these 5 laws. I hope readers will remember our domain name Taiwan Novel Network rightward arrow circled M. Even if you break through now, your strength will not improve much. If you don't break through, your strength will be about the same. However, when all 5 laws reach the last step, you will have the most refined ancestral dragon essence and blood. If you break through at that time, with your accumulation, your strength will probably be greatly improved. The eternal ancestor's meaning is very clear. Even if Li Yang breaks through the fire law, his strength will not improve much. It is better to accumulate slowly and wait for 100 years to comprehend the 5 laws together. When the accumulation is enough, break through in one fell swoop. Breaking through many laws together will also allow you to absorb more law origins. This is also one of the reasons why he asked Li Yang to accumulate. In addition, you can still comprehend the law of fusion in the world realm, so it's okay to break through to the god realm later. The leader of Daolu once told Li Yang that there was a genius in the world realm who began to comprehend the law of fusion, and then broke through to the Emperor again 10 years after breaking through to the God realm. This shows that it is completely possible to comprehend the law of fusion in the world realm. Li Yang may have spent more time to break through to the God realm, but it may take 100 years less to break through from the God realm to become the Emperor. The total time is unchanged. Diamond suit, diamond suit, diamond suit, diamond suit. Hearing what the Eternal Ancestor said, although Li Yang didn't quite understand the specific situation of the origin law, he still nodded and said, "I know, teacher. I will wait for other laws together." If, as the Eternal Ancestor said, he really broke through to become a god, his overall strength would only increase slightly, so why break through? Now it's nothing more than waiting for 100 years. This 100 years is not long for Li Yang, and he can wait. Yes. The Eternal Ancestor nodded and said, "Your 8th senior brother has also received the token of the Fusion Law Inheritance Land. He has been there before. I have ordered him to come back. He will return in about 3 days. When you go to the Fusion Law Inheritance Land, go with your 8th senior brother." 8th senior brother. Hearing this, some information suddenly appeared in Li Yang's mind. Li Yang's 8th senior brother is called Emperor Yunmi. He is a top-level emperor. He is only one step away from being a master. Among the disciples of the Eternal Ancestor, Emperor Yunmi is the strongest. The average top emperor is not even his opponent. "Yes, teacher," thinking in his heart, Li Yang said immediately. In fact, he didn't know much about the Fusion Law Inheritance Land, especially knowing that it was a big force, where the top talents of various races gathered. Li Yang also felt a little cautious about it. But with the leadership of the 8th senior brother Emperor Yunmi, he will definitely be able to get familiar with it quickly, so there is nothing to worry about. "Well, go," the Eternal Ancestor ordered. "Disciple, I'll take my leave." Li Yang left respectfully. After leaving the Eternal Ancestor, Li Yang silently pondered the information of the Fusion Law Inheritance Land in his heart. He was also looking at a lot of information. The Fusion Law Inheritance Land gathers geniuses from all major ethnic groups, but you can't fight inside. Well, this rule is good. Having killed so many gods in the killing battlefield at once, those alien races hated Li Yang to the bone and definitely wanted to kill him immediately. And those alien races must know that he is going to the Fusion Law Inheritance Land, and when the time comes, they will send strong men to fight, and he will have to be on guard at all times. Now that the rules prohibit fighting, his worries are suddenly reduced a lot. While watching, Li Yang went to a place. "Are we there?" Li Yang looked forward, and the front was the residence of the Sword Slaughter Sect Master. "Li Yang, have you seen the Eternal Ancestor?" Looking at Li Yang, the Sword Slaughter Sect Master asked with a smile. Li Yang performed so well, the Eternal Ancestor probably paid more attention to Li Yang, and he was naturally happy in his heart. "Yes, teacher." Li Yang smiled and said, "I just came back from the teacher of the Eternal Ancestor." He looked at the leader of the Daolo sect, and without any nonsense, he waved his right hand, and then 3 treasures appeared in front of him, a battle sword, a set of armor, and a pair of wings. Li Yang, seeing these 3 treasures, the leader of the Daolo sect was stunned. 3 holy artifacts, he easily judged the level of the holy artifacts in front of him. But before he said anything, Li Yang said, "Teacher, this time, the disciple has gained a lot in the killing battlefield. The teacher has broken through to the level of the emperor. The disciple has not congratulated you yet. These 3 treasures will serve as gifts for congratulations." He now has 3 high-level holy artifacts, and he also got 6 ordinary holy artifacts in the world of the Holy Artifact Sect ruins. These 6 ordinary holy artifacts are actually not very useful to Li Yang. Therefore, Li Yang had thought about it before, and selected 3 of the 6 holy artifacts as a generous gift for the leader of the Daolo section. Hearing Li Yang's words, Daolo sect master immediately shook his head and said with a smile, "Li Yang, take back the holy weapon. Teacher doesn't need it. It's enough that you have this intention, Li Yang hurriedly said. Teacher, the holy weapon can greatly enhance the emperor. With these 3 holy weapons, your strength will definitely be greatly improved. Moreover, these 3 treasures are not necessary for disciples. The Daolu sect master had just broken through and was just an ordinary emperor. Almost 99% of ordinary emperors did not have holy weapons. This holy weapon would be of great benefit to their strength. The Daolu sect master was very kind to him. Now Li Yang had no use for these ordinary holy weapons. Could it be that he was reluctant to take them out? Li Yang, the teacher is serious. The Daolu sect master shook his head and said, the teacher now plans to stay in the temple for a long time, estimated to be tens of thousands of years, and will not go out to fight. Do you think the teacher needs holy weapons? He looked at Li Yang and said, on the contrary, you are becoming more and more famous now, and you are about to go to the place where the fusion law is inherited. There must be countless alien races who want to kill you. For you, these things are more important. Even if you don't need them for the time being, you can completely exchange them for the treasures you need. It is impossible for the Daolu sect master not to be tempted by these holy weapons, but he fully understands that his disciples need them more. Teacher. Li Yang wanted to say something else. No need to say more. The Daolu sect master shook his head and said, you know my temper, and I can't change my decision. Hearing this, Li Yang had no choice but to take back the 3 ordinary holy artifacts. He had 3 high-level holy artifacts before, and he knew that the Daolu sect master was going to become an emperor. He had planned to give the ordinary holy artifacts to the Daolu sect master, but he had been staying in the killing battlefield and couldn't come back. Unexpectedly, the Daolu sect master would not accept them at all. End of this chapter. From the City to the Strongest in the Universe. Author, G. Difeng Ren. Chapter 648. Seeing Li Yang's expression, Master Daolu sect smiled and said, Li Yang, the stronger you are, the happier the teacher will be. This is the greatest gift to the teacher. The leader of the sword slaughter sect was very happy. His disciple actually took out 3 holy weapons and wanted to give them to him. Just kidding, this is a sacred weapon. A holy weapon that most emperors don't have. Li Yang took out such a treasure, which shows the respect he has for him in his heart. Many strong people respect their teachers when they are very weak, but when they become stronger, their attitude will be much more contemptuous. Even if they have good treasures, they will not think of their teachers at all. Being able to receive such a disciple, the leader of the sword-killing sect was in a good mood. After taking back the 3 sacred artifacts, Li Yang thought for a moment and suddenly asked, Teacher, do you refine the essence and blood of the ancestral dragon? There are many disciples here. Many powerful people are refining the essence and blood of the ancestral dragon. Even the emperor, if he refines more than 10 drops, his strength can even increase tenfold. This shows the power of the essence and blood of the ancestral dragon. The essence and blood of the ancestral dragon. Hearing Li Yang's words, the sword-killing sect leader's eyes lit up and he said with a smile, I am indeed refining my master's breakthrough to the emperor, and every drop on my body is almost finished refining. Hearing this, Li Yang immediately took out a dozen drops of blood essence and blood of the ancestor dragon and said, Teacher, keep these blood essence and blood of the ancestor dragon. The leader of the sword slaughter sect knew that Li Yang had killed 400 gods of the 5 series at once, and he must have obtained a lot of blood essence and blood from the ancestral dragon. After all, in the realm of gods, a well-known way to quickly improve your strength is to refine the blood essence of the ancestral dragon. Therefore, many gods will bring a drop or 2 with them to practice and refine at the same time. Back then, Li Yang killed 100 gods of the 4 series at once and got more than a dozen drops of ancestral dragon essence and blood. This time, he killed 405 element gods, and got hundreds of drops of ancestral dragon essence and blood. Looking at the blood essence and blood of the ancestor dragon handed over by Li Yang, the leader of the sword slaughter sect did not refuse this time, and said with a smile, "Okay, I will accept it, Master. It is not cheap to exchange the blood essence and blood of the ancestor dragon in the temple. Master also enjoy the filial piety of my disciples." He knew that Li Yang had a lot of ancestral dragon essence and blood, so even if he accepted some, it would not have any impact on Li Yang. Therefore, there was no problem for him to accept it. Seeing the leader of Daolo sect receiving the essence and blood of the ancestor dragon, Li Yang also smiled and said, "Teacher, just enjoy it." When he was weak, the leader of the sword slaughter sect was very kind to him. In the Milky Way, Na Luyu led an army to blockade the solar system and wanted to take away the body of the complete ancestral dragon. The leader of the sword-killing sect even came to the solar system in person. Li Yang must have remembered all these kindnesses in his heart. "By the way, when do you plan to go to the place where the law of fusion is inherited?" Master Sword Killer smiled and put away the essence and blood of the ancestral dragon, then looked at Li Yang and asked. 3 days later. Li Yang said, "Teacher Eternal Ancestor arranged for 8th senior brother to take me with him to destroy the Emperor." 3 days. The leader of the sword slaughter sect nodded and said, "You must be fully prepared for this trip. At the place where the law of fusion is inherited, all major ethnic groups will gather, and there will be countless strong people, especially the emperors of each major ethnic group. Very common. You killed so many alien gods of the 5 elements in the killing battlefield this time. Those aliens hate you deeply. Although the fusion method is prohibited in the inheritance land, there are loopholes in any rules, so you must not relax. If the opponent chooses to commit suicide and kill Li Yang, this is entirely possible." "I know." Li Yang nodded. After staying with the master of Daolo sect for a long time, Li Yang came to another place. In the huge area, there is nothing else but a huge palace. In front of the palace, there was an old man sitting cross-legged. The old man was wearing a black robe and was only about 1.5 meters tall. He looked kind and kind. This is the exchange treasure house of the eternal temple of the human race, and the old man is the guardian of the treasure house, and he is also a strong man with extremely terrifying strength. "I've met Lord Muyan," Li Yang said respectfully as he looked at the old man. He is now relatively powerful, but facing the old man in front of him, he can't see through it at all. This feeling was not felt even when he faced the 13th senior brother, the Golden Dragon Emperor, whose strength was close to the top emperor. The old man in front of him is at least stronger than the Golden Dragon Emperor, the weakest one is a top-level emperor, and he may even be a more powerful existence. But it's normal to think about it. This is the treasure house of the human temple. There are many treasures such as holy weapons in it. How could it be possible to find a weak guardian? Li Yang. Looking at Li Yang, the old man Muyan said with a smile, "I haven't seen you in 50 years. Are you back from the killing battlefield so soon?" He knew that Li Yang went to the killing battlefield, but he obviously didn't know about other things. "Well, I'm back." Li Yang smiled and said, "Master Muyan, I am going to exchange some treasures inside." The old man Muyan nodded and said, "Go in and choose slowly." Li Yang nodded and then walked into the palace. In front of the palace, there was a huge screen. Li Yang clicked on the screen, and treasures appeared one by one. These treasures all existed in the treasure house and needed to be redeemed with contribution points. However, Li Yang was not redeeming those treasures at this time. He came to another screen, clicked on it, and a strange portal appeared in front of him. And the information written here is where the treasure is identified. In the human treasure house, treasures are constantly being exchanged, and one day they will all be exchanged, so it is definitely impossible to just exchange them. If the human race has any treasures that they don't need for the time being, they can also trade directly to the tribe. There are both buying and selling, so that the treasures are endless and can be exchanged all the time. I have a lot of treasures on me now, especially artifacts, get rid of them all. Li Yang's face was calm, and he quickly took out an artifact. He had killed 400 5-element gods before, and they were all relatively powerful 5-element gods. He got 900 top-level artifacts alone. As for other high-level artifacts, medium-level artifacts, ordinary artifacts, etc., there are even more, adding up to 4,000. These are of no use to him. This time he went to the place where the fusion law was inherited, where alien strongmen gathered, and there were many emperor-level strongmen. Mastering a very small part of the fusion law can break through to become an emperor. And the emperor is the one who truly comprehends the deeper fusion law, so many of those who have pieces of fusion law inheritance tokens are emperors. Their goal is naturally to break through to become the master of the universe through the place where the fusion law is inherited. Only the master of the universe can be the real peak combat power of a race, and he can travel the universe fearlessly. Thanks to the 500 rewards from the Master Apprentice mode, and 100 rewards from 08A, thank you. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. From the City to the Strongest in the Universe. Author, G. Difeng Ren. Chapter 649. In the place where the law of fusion is inherited, strong foreigners gather, and there are many strong ones at the emperor level. When Li Yang went there, he was at the bottom in terms of strength. He must maximize his strength and sell all the useless treasures on his body and exchange them for treasures that are useful to him. Thinking in his mind, Li Yang took out an ordinary artifact sword and placed it in front of the door. Suddenly a mechanical sound sounded. An ordinary artifact sword, you can get 1 artifact point by trading it to the tribe. Do you want to trade it? Artifact point. Hearing this, Li Yang's heart moved. He used contribution points before. He got the top artifact here before, but at that time the temple compensated him because of the ancestral dragon, so it didn't cost Li Yang anything. Taiwan Novel Network Rightward arrow. Now, he has not obtained any artifact points at all. Thinking in his mind, Li Yang said directly, deal. Buzz. As the words fell, the portal in front of him fluctuated, and then the sword next to it disappeared. Bite. The watch in Li Yang's hand rang, and a message was sent. Li Yang, 1 artifact point has been credited to your account. After looking at it for a moment, Li Yang withdrew his gaze again. Continue. Ordinary artifact armor, you can get 1 artifact point by trading it to the clan. Do you want to trade it? Ordinary artifact boots, you can get 1 artifact point by trading them to the tribe. Do you want to trade them? Next, Li Yang kept repeating the action. Most ordinary artifacts were sold for 1 artifact point and soon, 1,000 ordinary artifacts were traded. Then Li Yang took out 1,000 medium artifacts. The price of medium artifacts is obviously much more expensive than ordinary artifacts, the price is about 10 times. Next, there are more than 1,000 high-level artifacts. The price of these high-level artifacts is 10 times that of the medium artifacts. And Li Yang has more and more artifact points on his account. 100 artifact points, 1,000 artifact points, 10,000 artifact points, 50,000 artifact points. After Li Yang exchanged nearly half of the high-level artifacts, the artifact points on his account officially exceeded 50,000 points. At this time, another message was sent. Li Yang, congratulations, your artifact points have exceeded 50,000, and you have reached the minimum threshold for redeeming sacred artifacts. Now, you can start exchanging sacred artifacts in the treasure house. A simple piece of information was displayed directly in front of Li Yang. Holy weapon. Li Yang's heart moved, This threshold actually requires 50,000 artifact points. Before, he could only see the top artifacts, but not the holy artifacts at all. Now it seems that the exchange obviously needs to meet certain conditions, and the conditions are so harsh. Since it is the minimum condition, at least 50,000 artifact points can be exchanged for an ordinary sacred weapon. Continue. Slightly surprised, Li Yang did not stop at this time and finished trading the remaining 500 high-level artifacts. At this time, the artifact points on his account had reached 100,000. Then there are 900 top-level artifacts. The top-level artifact armor can be traded to the tribe to get 1000 artifact points. Do you want to trade it? The top-level artifact longsword can be traded to the tribe to get 1100 artifact points. Do you want to trade it? The price of top-level artifacts is undoubtedly more expensive, and each one has at least 1000 artifact points. Diamond suit, diamond suit, diamond suit, diamond suit. By the time all the top artifacts were processed, the total number on Li Yang's account had exceeded 1 million artifact points. After that, Li Yang began to deal with the 6 ordinary sacred artifacts. He is now very powerful in his own body, and the situation of his clones is not yet considered. Both the Kongli Dragon clone and the Thunder Star Beast clone are in the corresponding alien groups, so they will naturally find a way to deal with the treasure. As for the octopus clones left on the Earth, although Li Yang did not return to the Earth, he transported back several top-level artifacts and a few drops of the blood of the ancestor dragon. These are enough for the octopus clone. There are 6 ordinary sacred artifacts, one is priced at 60,000 artifact points, 2 are priced at 70,000, 2 are priced at 80,000, and the last one is priced at 90,000. The quality of the ordinary sacred weapons left behind by the sacred artifact sect's ruins is really high Li Yang's side. Even treasures of the same level will have strengths and weaknesses. The most common holy artifact sells for 50,000 artifact points, while the highest one can even reach 90,000. In total, Li Yang's artifact points have reached 1.45 million at this time. These can be converted into nearly 30 sacred weapon points. Apart from these, Li Yang has not stopped yet. The treasures on those gods are not just weapons. Just like when Li Yang killed the 104 series gods before and calculated the wealth of those gods, the other treasures combined were no less valuable than the artifacts. For example, the hundreds of drops of ancestral dragon essence and blood on Li Yang's body are an incalculable wealth. Even the emperor can only refine a dozen drops at most. Li Yang has only refined less than 5 drops so far. These hundreds of drops are useless to him. Moreover, the corpse of the ancestral dragon was obtained in the solar system. Among the conditions given to him by the temple, he could apply for free as long as he needed the essence and blood of the ancestral dragon. Of course, what he obtained through his own strength can be traded to the clan. Could it be that refining the essence and blood of the ancestral dragon does not require a free application from the clan, but must be obtained by one's own strength? Deal. Deal. Later, Li Yang continued to repeat it, and it took an hour before all the treasures were processed. Finally finished. Li Yang breathed a sigh of relief. There are too many treasures on those gods. But think about it. A powerful 5-element god, accumulated for hundreds of millions of years, has unimaginable treasures on his body, let alone 400. To be frank, most emperors don't have as many treasures as the 400 5-element gods combined. He looked at the information on his watch. 61 holy artifact points. After looking at it, Li Yang couldn't help but smile. 1 holy artifact point can be exchanged for an ordinary holy artifact, and now he can even exchange for 61 ordinary holy artifacts. Of course, 45 of these holy artifact points are contributed by the 6 ordinary holy artifacts he obtained in the Holy Artifact Sect Ruins world. Next, exchange treasures, Li Yang quickly checked. After selling things, he now needs to buy things. Click to query, and the information of holy artifacts appeared in front of him. Moon Shadow Armor, high-level holy weapon, the price is 100 holy weapon points. Star Moon Battle Blade, high-level holy weapon, the price is 90 law points. Li Yang took a quick look and felt helpless. He sold all these treasures of gods, but he couldn't even exchange for a high-level holy weapon. The lowest priced high-level holy weapon actually required 70 holy weapon points. It's really expensive. Li Yang shook his head and had to look at those medium-level holy weapons. Of course, he looked at the special ones. I have high-level holy weapons of attack, defense, and speed. I don't need them at all. Li Yang looked carefully. In fact, each treasure has a different function, and he doesn't know which one he needs to exchange now. After searching for a while, Li Yang suddenly looked at one place. Empty Source Tower, medium-level holy weapon. After activating, unless the strength is 3 times the top emperor, the defense cannot be broken below the 3 times the top emperor. The price is 55 holy weapon points. From the City to the Strongest in the Universe. Author, G. Difeng Ren. Chapter 650. Li Yang's eyes lit up when he saw the information about the treasure in front of him. A space defense treasure. The previous space beads could only be broken open by the Emperor, and he clearly felt the benefits from them. And in front of me, the Kongyuan tower that appeared was obviously several levels higher than the space bead. Unless the top Emperor with 3 times the strength takes action, even his 13th senior brother Jin Long Emperor, who is close to the top Emperor in strength, can't do anything to him. You can imagine how strong this defense is. That's it. Looking at the treasure, Li Yang exchanged it immediately without any hesitation. When he arrives at the place where the fusion law is super-inherited, if those powerful foreigners want to deal with him, they will at least send out the Emperor, so the space beads are of no use to him. The sacred weapon points on the account were quickly deducted, and a small white tower appeared in front of Li Yang. His consciousness quickly recognized the owner, and Li Yang suddenly knew the information about Xiota. Haha, with this Kongyuan tower here, more than 99% of the emperors can't do anything to get me. Li Yang was happy in his heart. The number of top emperors is very small. There are nearly 10,000 emperors in the human race. There are definitely no more than 10 top emperors. This number is estimated to be even less than the number of human masters. This Kongyuan tower was the most precious treasure that Li Yang exchanged, and then Li Yang exchanged it for other treasures. After the exchange was completed, Li Yang looked at the old man Mu Yan and said, "Master Mu Yan, I have finished the exchange." As the guardian of the temple's treasure house, the old man Mu Yan naturally knew clearly about Li Yang's exchange situation. He saw the top-level artifacts that Li Yang took out, and even hundreds of drops of the blood of the ancestor dragon. He knew this after just thinking about it. What's going on with Li Yang? He took a deep look at Li Yang and said, "Now that the exchange is completed, let's leave." Li Yang respectfully retreated. In front of the huge treasure house, only the old man Mu Yan sat silently. This Li Yang is really, well hidden. The old man Mu Yan sighed. Everyone in the clan is talking about Hongsu, but I didn't expect that Li Yang's talent is at least 100 times more powerful than Hongsu. Although he was sighing, the old man Mu Yan's eyes were filled with joy. It is truly a blessing for our human race to have these two peerless geniuses. On the other side, Li Yang knew that he must have been seen through by the old man Mu Yan, but he didn't need to worry about anything. As the guardian of the treasure house of the eternal temple of the human race, he believed that it was impossible for the old man Mu Yan to spread the news. The exchange is over, now we are waiting for the 8th senior brother to come back, and we will go to the place where the fusion law is inherited with the 8th senior brother. Li Yang was looking forward to it in his heart. 3 days flew by. Virtual world, galaxy. Diamond suit, diamond suit, diamond suit, diamond suit. Dad, a young man appeared in front of Li Yang, looked at Li Yang and shouted excitedly. This young man is naturally Li Dong, Li Yang's son. Li Yang patted Li Dong's shoulder and said with a smile, Xiao Dong, I heard your mother say that you are working hard in the core area of Yangyuan Star Continent. How about it? What can't you gain? Dad, I have gained a lot, Li Dong said with a smile. In a few months, I should be able to break through to the longevity realm. He looked at his father, who was like a mountain standing in front of him since childhood, making him carefree. No matter where he went, other forces were respectful to him, even the divine forces, which made him very proud and felt that his status was very high. However, Li Yang suddenly disappeared and Li Dong began to panic after not entering the virtual world for decades. At that time, he felt that his status was not high at all. If he did not have his father, he would be an ant-like existence in the universe. In fact, he had realized this before, but with Li Yang around, he didn't panic. But this time, he felt it completely. Therefore, he began to practice hard. Oh! Longevity realm, Li Yang glanced at Li Dong. It's great to break through to the Wanshao realm by yourself without relying on resources. Not bad, keep up the hard work, Li Yang praised. The father and son were talking, and next to them, Zhou Yao spoke. Li Yang, you don't know that Xiaodong had a big conflict with a genius from the Yangyuan Empire. Li Yang purchased some powerful mechanical beings, some of which were in the world realm. There was a world realm mechanical life beside Li Dong to protect him, so Zhou Yao must know about his affairs. Oh! Hearing this, Li Yang looked at Li Dong and asked, Xiao Dong, what's going on? Li Dong shook his head and said, Dad, it's a small matter. It was just a fight over a treasure during the previous training. The genius of the Yangyuan Empire relied on his status to suppress me, but unfortunately he made the wrong calculation. Speaking of the Yangyuan Empire, a hint of disdain clearly flashed in Li Dong's eyes. Li Dong knew about Emperor Yangyuan of the Yangyuan Empire and his father. At the beginning, his father participated in the talent selection and was forcibly eliminated in the end. There is not much to say about this matter. And when his father was taking on the training mission in the eternal temple of the human race, he was trapped in the opportunity space left by the master of the Xianmi gun, the master of Xianmi. Rumor has it that his father has died. Not long after the news spread, Emperor Yangyuan actually released Tianluo, his father's enemy. That day Luo was the one who forcibly eliminated his father, and even nearly destroyed the earth. After Tianluo was released, he began to retaliate against the earth. If Li Yang was trapped for a longer time, it is unknown what would happen to the earth. Maybe the earth would be destroyed. Therefore, Li Dong did not have any good feelings towards Emperor Yangyuan. He was invited to join the Yangyuan Empire martial arts field, but he directly refused and ignored it. Isn't he just an ordinary emperor? Li Dong believed that his father might not be as strong as Emperor Yangyuan now, but he would definitely be able to easily surpass him in the future. Thinking in his heart, Li Dong smiled and said, Dad, it's okay. Those geniuses are only in the realm of law. I have the mechanical life protection of the world realm. Those people can't do anything to me. I know my limits. Li Dong did encounter some things, but it was not a big deal. He believed that he could solve it with his own ability. In the core area of the Yangyuan Empire, there are many divine forces. As for the geniuses in the realm of law of those forces, at most one star master realm is sent for protection. There are almost no people like Li Dong who have the protection of the world realm around him. Li Dong didn't want to trouble his father. If he couldn't solve these small things, what was the difference between him and a waste? Hearing what Li Dong said, Li Yang understood what he meant. He nodded and said, since you said you can handle it, we won't ask too much, but if you really encounter any big troubles that are difficult to solve, you must tell us immediately. In addition, your life is the most important, and you must tell us your identity at the critical moment. Li Dong went out to hone his skills, and he also disguised his face. Otherwise,
everyone knew that he was Li Yang's son, so what was the point of Hone? I guess everyone would come to please him. Thanks to 08 for the 100 reward, thank you.